Here in Ontario, we've just gone into an extended lockdown, and I see a lot of photographers are struggling to figure out what that means for them in terms of work. I hope this video will help explain where the confusion is coming from and provide some clarity for you moving forward. The major problem right now stems from the language used in Ontario's COVID-19 response framework. It says commercial and industrial photography is permitted, whereas retail photography studios have to be closed. A lot of us who shoot portraits, headshots, maternity, newborns, weddings, families, we don't have a classic retail photography studio space. This is my office here. So the issue is, in the photography industry, we don't use the term retail. So a lot of photographers feel like they're lost in a void somewhere between commercial photography and retail photography. So I think it's important to understand the language that is being used and what the intent is, what it's trying to convey. What it really comes down to is the difference between commercial photography and consumer photography. So in a classic context, you're looking at the difference between business to business versus business to consumer. I think through the government's eyes, what they're saying is that business to business photography, commercial photography can continue, and business to consumer photography, where you're interacting with people in a portrait studio, in a wedding, in a family setting, in a boudoir studio, that is not permitted. And I think what really gives us a clue to this is the fact that the government says commercial and industrial photography. In the photography industry, industrial photography is a type of commercial photography. So if you don't know what industrial photography is, think of industry as being the types of industry that were revolutionized during the industrial age. Farming, agriculture, machinery, warehouses, power generation, oil refineries, right? These are all industries that are required for the economy to continue moving. Commercial photography, on the other hand, is photography that is shot for businesses for the purposes of advertising, branding, marketing. That would include shoots like print ads, magazine photography, product photography, packaging, food photography, real estate listings. If we look at film and TV production that's happening right now, there are strict protocols in place for those productions. Those protocols are also in place for commercial photography shoots. If you're shooting a fashion campaign and you have models, makeup artists, wardrobe stylists, producers, production assistants, digital techs, lighting, all of these people are involved in making that shoot successful. A lot of those shoots also have a COVID monitor on set, someone whose sole job is dedicated to tracking who's on set, making sure people are social distancing, wearing masks, and following all the protocols. So if you're watching this video to figure out where you fit in, where you land, and to help you understand if the work that you do is commercial photography or not, there's a simple way to figure this out. If you're here looking for answers, you're not a commercial photographer. A commercial photographer already knows and understands what work of theirs that they're doing is commercial. But you might also be here trying to figure out what work is commercial photography work so that you could pivot to doing that kind of work. What I'll also tell you is that there's not a lot of it out there right now. I was on my way to having my first six-figure year last year, and then COVID hit. And I've been surviving off of CERB and CRB payments that can't even cover my rent. I have friends who've been pivoting to try and shoot more product photography, and there are not a lot of businesses that are hiring photographers right now because they're also hurting. So there are two specific genres that I also want to talk about, and they are headshot photography and weddings. So I'm a headshot photographer as well. I shoot headshots for actors and business people. So if I'm shooting headshots for a real estate agent or a lawyer, that is technically business to business, but it goes against the spirit of what the government is trying to accomplish right now, and really what the best course of action is for us to do right now. We need to be safe. We need to not be working one-on-one with other people as much as possible. Think about what the framework is trying to accomplish. It's trying to keep us safe, and it's trying to stop the spread of the virus. Number two is weddings. First of all, who's getting married in January in Ontario? Anyone who's getting married in January in Ontario is not going to be having an outdoor wedding. That elevates the risk. Now, weddings are allowed to take place. You have to be maintaining social distancing, and they can have a maximum of 10 people. So let's look at those numbers. Bride, groom, officiant, best man, maid of honor, parents of the bride, parents of the groom, photographer. That's 10. That's it. Can it happen? Technically. Should it happen? Probably not. And we'll look to another section of the framework for guidance on that. And that is households are not supposed to be mixing. And this is one of the reasons people are so confused. So on the one hand, weddings are allowed to happen, but on the other hand, we can't intermingle households. So at a wedding, we have a bride and a groom. Maybe they live together. So that's one household, possibly two already. And then we have an officiant. They don't live with the bride or groom. The photographer doesn't live with the bride or groom. Then we probably have the mom and dad of the bride, the mom and dad of the groom. This is just a lot of households mixing together. And then finally, the framework also says that people are supposed to go to work only if that work is considered essential. Are wedding photographers essential? No. We're not nurses. We're not doctors. We're not grocery store clerks. Wedding photography is a luxury, no matter what price point is at. Wedding photography is not essential, so it's a luxury. But yet people are still shooting. And I understand it. We're broke. We're worried about being sued. Our force majeure clauses probably didn't cover pandemics. If yours did, awesome, brilliant. Mine does now. Yours should now too. So it's tough. What do? Do you get fined? Do you not get fined? So to my fellow photographers, here's what I would say. Stay home, stay safe, save lives. The confusion of the lockdown and the stay-at-home order can be sorted out with 3 simple words. Stay at home. If you're looking for a loophole, stop. You're going to give the entire photography industry a bad reputation. Stay home. Stay safe. Save lives. Support one another. You're going to need to rely on one another to get through this. Write to the Premier's office. Write to your MPP asking for clarification. Get on the phone with them. Don't take someone else's word for it. Don't take my word for it. Put pressure on the provincial government to make sure that we get through this. Write to your MPP. Write to the Premier's office. In the meantime, work on your business instead of in your business. Take a course. Watch some photographer YouTube channels. There are a number of Ontario-based photography and videography channels here on YouTube, like Peter McKinnon, Matty Hipuja, Kyle McDougall, Gerald Undone. And if you want to help me, subscribe to this channel. I would appreciate it. Please, stay safe.